The automotive world has been debating on one question ever since two YouTubers proved that a Bugatti could be repaired outside the manufacturer's ecosystem. Between Mark McCann and Matt Armstrong, who truly stole the show? Both of them took on one of the most intimidating hypercars ever built. They challenged the belief that only Bugatti could properly repair a Veyron without official Bugatti support. But they achieved that goal in completely different ways. One relied on assembling some of the world's best specialists. The other relied on his own mechanical knowledge, determination, and relentless problem solving. So who deserves the title of the real Bugatti Slayer? Today, we're comparing both journeys fairly, looking at the facts, and examining why this debate has become one of the biggest discussions in the automotive community. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and share this video with another car enthusiast. We cover some of the most incredible automotive stories from around the world. And this comparison between Mark McCann and Matt Armstrong is one of the most fascinating Bugatti stories ever documented on YouTube. Now, let's break down both journeys and see why so many people believe one stands above the other. Let's begin with Mark McCann, because his Bugatti story deserves genuine recognition. Mark purchased what was widely described as the cheapest Bugatti Veyron in the world, a Mansory Prasang edition, for around £900,000. There was just one major problem. The gearbox was badly damaged. The car wouldn't even select reverse, turning what looked like a dream purchase into one of the biggest restoration challenges ever attempted on a Veyron. Like many independent owners before him, Mark first turned to Bugatti for help. But instead of receiving the support he expected, months passed with little progress. That forced him to search beyond the official network. Eventually, his search led him to Pascal in the Netherlands, a specialist willing to tackle a job that many believed couldn't be done outside Bugatti. Over the following year, Pascal painstakingly rebuilt the gearbox from the ground up. Because Bugatti refused to supply certain components, replacement parts had to be engineered from scratch. New clutch plates were fabricated. Custom gaskets were produced. Critical components were reverse engineered. It became far more than a repair. It became an engineering project. The challenges didn't stop there. Without access to Bugatti's official testing equipment, Mark partnered with Revotech to build a dedicated gearbox test rig. Ironically, Ricardo, the engineering company that originally developed the Veyron's gearbox, was located only a short drive away, yet access to their equipment wasn't available. At one point, Mark even traveled to Malaga after believing someone named Andrew had a working gearbox solution. That turned out to be a costly disappointment. The promised gearbox simply didn't exist. But instead of giving up, Mark kept searching. One of the biggest breakthroughs came when he began working with Rob Barnes, one of the engineers involved in the original development of the Veyron gearbox at Ricardo, back in 2006. His experience proved invaluable in solving the clutch adaptation challenges that had prevented the transmission from operating correctly. With the gearbox finally functioning, Furlonger Specialist Cars completed the final stages of reassembly. For the first time in a long time, the Veyron was back on the road. The same car that had once been written off because of its gearbox had been transformed into a fully functioning Veyron once again. Today, estimates suggest the car could be worth somewhere between £1.75 and £2 million. By any standard, that's an extraordinary achievement. It required enormous financial commitment, persistence, and the willingness to trust some of the most experienced specialists in the industry. There's no question that Mark McCann documented one of the most ambitious independent Bugatti restorations ever shared online. People stopped comparing the cars. They started comparing the people behind them. People were no longer debating which Veyron looked better or which journey was more entertaining. Instead, they started asking a much bigger question. Who really deserves the title of the Bugatti Slayer? The comment sections quickly filled with opinions, and although there were different perspectives, one theme kept appearing over and over again. One person said, Mark is getting specialists to do the work. Furlonger and others. Matt is sourcing parts and doing it by himself. That comment captures what many viewers believe is the biggest difference between the two projects. Another viewer wrote, he never built anything. He got other people to build it for him. Matt Armstrong fixed it himself. Whether you agree with that opinion or not, it reflects a point that came up repeatedly throughout the discussion. Another comment read, Mark just has the money. Matt is just on a different level. Watching someone solve one problem after another with determination made Matt's project feel more relatable to many enthusiasts. Someone else commented, saying that he actually did something is hilarious. Furlonger and Pascal did the job, not Mark. For some viewers, Mark's greatest achievement wasn't turning the spanners himself. It was assembling the right experts and seeing the project through to completion. Finally, one viewer summed up the debate by saying, "Matt fixed the car himself. Mark went around for 6 months looking for someone to fix it." There were thousands of comments supporting both sides, and it's impossible to include them all. But these opinions represent some of the most common themes shared by the automotive community. Now, it's important to be fair because both men accomplished something extraordinary. Mark McCann deserves enormous credit for taking on a project that many believed was impossible. He invested around £900,000 in a broken Bugatti Veyron, partnered with Revotech to build a dedicated gearbox test rig. However, many viewers make an important distinction. Managing a restoration project and personally carrying out the restoration are two very different achievements. This is where many enthusiasts believe Matt Armstrong's journey stands apart. Instead of outsourcing the major mechanical work, Matt approached each challenge himself. He identified that a simple 40-amp fuse caused a major gearbox problem, sourced affordable alternatives like Volkswagen spark plugs and Audi A3 mass airflow sensors, completed a Bugatti service himself for just £1,193, diagnosed a deteriorated fuel hose in the Swiss Alps, and repaired a faulty brake light switch using basic tools borrowed from a passing driver. Those moments became defining parts of his story because viewers watched him solve each challenge as it happened. That's why this comparison continues to divide opinions. One project demonstrated the power of assembling world-class specialists. The other demonstrated hands-on mechanical knowledge, persistence, and determination. When you step back, it's clear these two Bugatti journeys represent two very different approaches to solving the same challenge. So, who stole the show? The answer depends on what you value most. If you admire leadership, investment, and assembling the right team, Mark McCann's achievement is remarkable. But if you value hands-on engineering, problem solving, and personally overcoming every obstacle, it's easy to understand why so many people point to Matt Armstrong. At the end of the day, both men changed the conversation around Bugatti ownership. Both deserve enormous credit. But judging by the reaction across the automotive community, many enthusiasts believe Matt Armstrong's hands-on approach left the bigger impression. Now it's over to you. Who is the real Bugatti slayer, Mark McCann or Matt Armstrong? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this comparison, don't forget to subscribe for more automotive stories and rebuild documentaries.